Thank you. I've got to say, I've been looking through all my old videos of The Simpsons the last few days, trying to work out what the future of our political system is going to look like. Because when you realise that 16 years ago they had an episode and they actually had Donald Trump as the President of America, you know, who would have thought? I didn't find too much, I've got to say. I'm going to start on a serious note, which is kind of rare for me, but I do like to make one thing clear to people when I speak. And I speak as the President of the RMT, and I'm very proud to do that. And as a trade union, we have something like a Bible, we call it our rule book, and it's important to remind people that rule number 1 in our Bible is that we must strive to replace the capitalist system with a socialist order of society. And that mustn't just be empty words. I certainly believe it. I certainly try to do my best to push in that direction. Of course, a lot of people, you know, they smile and they will say nothing, or if they're brave enough to say something, it's, oh, you know, is that not a little bit out of date? Can we really achieve that? Well, you certainly can't achieve it if you don't try. So I'm going to tell a quick story now, which I've told many times. I didn't intend to tell this story again. But there may be people here that haven't heard it. I know my comrades at the back are bored of it. But I saw that wonderful man up there, Tom Watson, a moment ago. And I waved to him from the chair. I didn't use all my fingers, but I did wave. And I apologise if you heard this story, but I think it's an important one to actually tell you about the people that run or are attempting to run our country. Certainly someone that's attempting to run the Labour Party, albeit from, speed talk. But very, very quickly then, I didn't realise I didn't have that much time. Okay, Tom. Tom met me after I became president earlier in the year, and Angela Eagle and others there. Well, they were drinking. I was doing a dry month, which I do every now and again to save my liver. And the whole debate was about when is the RMT coming back to their homeland of the Labour Party. And why I put up with it, well, thanks, I just went up. This is great. I can add in the Angela Eagle bit now. Because Angela had the microphone there and she was saying at the time, RMT, when are you going to come back to your family? And I pointed out earlier and I said then, well, if it's a family, I actually got it wrong because I said, well, we're the abused child. But of course, the RMT formed the Labour Party, or what became the Labour Party, not on our own, but we were part of that movement. And here we were all them years later dealing as the parent with the disappointment of a child. And I messed that up a bit, but I told you earlier, and those of you who are up in the other meeting heard all that, and I'm not going to go down that line again. But back to Tom. So Tom then decides he wants to be my mate. So he's like, come on, Sean, he pretended he knew me. He didn't know anything about me. Someone else had just told him who I was. And so he's then, really keen to get to know me. And I said, well, I'm not drinking, Tom. He wanted to go for a drink. And he said, well, next month we'll go for a drink. I'll give you my details. Our office will contact you. We'll go for a drink, get to know each other, and then maybe the RMT could start talking about coming back. I just said, Tom, let's get to know each other now. And there were a few people around us. And I said, I'll start the ball rolling, Tom, if I want to get to know you. Tom, there were 9 countries bombing Syria when you voted for us to be the 10th. Tom, had the 9 countries missed a bit? Because if they'd missed a bit, Tom, we need to damn well get in there and get the bit that the other 9 missed, don't we, Tom? Well, unbelievably, everybody's phones must have been going off at the same time. They all started picking their phones out and wandering off. It's a long... I will say, he did try to justify his position, and I ended it with, it's bad enough you did it, but actually trying to justify it as well, to me, that was quite sick. But moving on from there... That was early days. I didn't particularly like him then, and it hasn't got any better. And what do we see moving on from there? Middle of our AGM, 172 treacherous MPs trying to do Jeremy in. 172. Tom pulling the strings in the background. Other people, he's unelectable. He's unelectable. He's going to damage the party. I think... Yeah, exactly. I think I remember the Labour... I don't remember, but I've read this. I'm not this old. But 1945 election, weeks before the election, a landslide under the Clement Attlee Labour Party, Harold Liskey, the chairman of Labour, sent a letter telling Clement Attlee to resign because you're going to gravely damage our chance of victory. So it's all happened before. It's all happened before. And is that the 5 or the 2?
2 minutes left.
And that makes 7. And then you roll the clock forward, and only the other week, 102 Labour MPs either abstained or did not vote on a bill that was trying to stop arms being traded with Saudi Arabia to bomb the Yemen. Now, this is what we're up against. This is the Labour Party that I'm talking about. So that's why I'm not the most enthusiastic when we talk about how we can work with them. Of course I want to work with Jeremy, John and others. These are all people the RMT have worked with for an awful long time. These are good people. And there are a lot of good people, there are good people and good socialists in the Green Party, for instance, but it's not a socialist party. There are good people and there are some socialists in the Labour Party. But the Parliamentary Labour Party, you cannot change it. It is a party that is corrupt and you cannot change it. So, very quickly, I do want to just talk about what's going on in my union at the moment. We've had 50 ballots for strike action this year. I'm not proud of that. I'm not bragging about it. That shows you the fight we're in. That shows you what our members are up against. In Southern, they're not fighting for money. All they're fighting for in Southern is to make the railway safe for the public. That's all they want. And yet the government are hell-bent on removing the safety-critical guard from every train. And then they want to do it in every other train around the country. Why? They've worked out they can save £20 billion. Wrong phrase. Not save. Collect £20 billion off the public to give to the privateers. That's what they're trying to do there. We've got the Adelphi Hotel in Liverpool at the moment. The staff there, minimum wage zeros contracts. We've just started a new campaign to save our seafarers. And even that, we've got people sailing out of Portsmouth to the Canary Islands, to the Channel Islands. I wish it was Canary Islands. Okay, £2.45 an hour, wholly in our waters. It's all legal. These are the battles we're up against. Now, I had loads. We'll have to wait to the bar. Listen, we have got many battles ahead of us. Many, many battles. And those of us that are left behind after the loss of Bob Crow, we're doing our best to try and live up to the man that Bob Crow was, live up to the values he had, and the RMT is still a strong, militant, fighting trade union. And all the time I'm around, I will strive to make sure nothing changes. And as Bob used to say, when we're in this fight, and I'll always use Bob's lines, that if you spit on your own, they just wipe it away. But if we all spit together, we can drown the bastards.